Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the Bhagavad Gita class. So we are on chapter 8. We will definitely complete chapter 8 today. And we will see, we will probably start chapter 9 if time permits. And if you have questions, please keep them ready. Today, if we have, I suspect we will have more time for Q&A. So we will, please use the time for any questions that you have so far on Bhagavad Gita Chapter 8 or any of the previous chapters. And as usual, please find a nice quiet place to study Bhagavad Gita. Dedicate these 2 hours to study of Bhagavad Gita. Don't multitask, don't do other things. And turn on your camera if possible. Like I said, personally, to me, it feels like I'm speaking to the group of people who I can see, but that's totally okay. Everybody has different circumstances. If you cannot, that's fine. But focus on the Bhagavad Gita. That is most important. I have seen, at least when I turn on my camera, I know that I'm being looked at, so I cannot do other things. So it's an additional forcing function that to keep your attention. We are all victims of mind getting diverted. So we are all victims of our mind. So we can use all the techniques available to capture the mind. Okay, having said all of that, let us start with the Mangalacharan prayers. And yes, on the Zoom, if you can put your full name, that will be appreciated. So let me start the screen sharing, and we will start with Mangalacharan prayers. One second. Are you seeing the Veda base, Bhagavad Gita introduction? Yes?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, great. So we will start with the Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Okay, very nice. So we will start with verse number 20 of the Bhagavad Gita. Let me share this other screen that I have on my iPad, which I usually do. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, I hope you can see this screen here and you can see what I'm writing. Yes, good.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so last time we covered till verse number 19. So we are on chapter 8 and we covered till 8.19. And one of the main items that we discussed till 8.19 was what? The temporality or the temporariness, let's say, temporariness. We also called it the split secondness of material world. Correct? We talked about this topic. So there was a long discussion on even if we perceive our life as very short, many people do perceive the life as long, but many of us, my children have now become teenagers. They have gone to college and or about to go to college. One of them, another one is already gone. And I'm like, where did all these years go? I still remember they were like, small kids, running around the house and playing with toys. And now suddenly they are in college. So life goes fast. So in that sense, many of us do realize that life is short and we wish we had a long life. And the essence of these verses, part of the point that Lord Krishna is trying to convey is that however long life there may be, it will always be short. And the example given was of the long life, for example, of Lord Brahma, how long it was and how we, may think that long life will make us happier, but that is not the case. And another point was how we keep going around in the cycle of birth and death during the cosmic manifestation, during this material world. When the day of Brahma arrives, we go into cycles of birth and death. When night arrives, we go and become unmanifest into the body of Lord Brahma or Lord Vishnu. Now here I wanted to make a small clarification, but so we become manifest and unmanifest, in this sense. And then we may go into another universe as well after Brahma dies and we get, into another universe as well. So there is no free ticket to spiritual world. Now, one point I wanted to make is that last time I mentioned that during the night of Brahma, so this is a clarification from last class. And just for sake of making sure that I'm accurate in the representation, during the night of Brahma, this is just a technical point, but since these lectures are getting recorded, I don't want anybody to say that I characterized a point or a commentary by previous acharyas. So I'm clarifying so that, it's all squared out and, corrected. During the night of Brahma, the jivas take shelter in the body of Lord Brahma. That is what I mentioned. This is mentioned by Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan. Now, Srila Prabhupada is writing, they take shelter in the body of Lord Vishnu. This is Srila Prabhupada is writing that. So whenever in case of doubt, we always supersede Srila Prabhupada's commentary with other acharyas. However, the two acharyas are saying two different things, and one must understand that these are very, very complex topics, and there can be differences in the opinions of or the commentary of the acharyas. and we need to, meditate more. We need to spend more time with the commentaries, with the scriptures, and get a consistent understanding. None of the acharyas are wrong, but it is our understanding which we cannot comprehend if these two seem to be contradictory or mutually exclusive. If it is one, it cannot be the other. So that is how it seems here. We need to focus more, we need to study more, we need to do more deeper bhakti, and the answer will be revealed to us. But I just wanted to leave it at that and mention that these are the 2 points being mentioned by the 2 wonderful acharyas. And, we pray to Lord Krishna that he reveals the full understanding to us in due course of time. Okay. So that is regarding that clarification. Now we will start with 8.20. So 8. Okay. Any questions, anybody, till so far? If you have questions, post it in the chat or raise your hand in the Zoom, so we can take questions if you have any. And I see somebody is unmuted. Please keep yourself muted. I have muted you. If you want to say something, by all means, go ahead and unmute and say something, but don't remain unmuted. Okay, now we will go to 8.20. So 8.20 and 8.21, these 2 verses, we'll use this. 8.20 and 8.21 is giving a contrast to material world. Contrast of what? Of spiritual world. Yeah, this line is too thick. So this will give the contrast of the spiritual world to the material world. We learned in the previous verses that the material world is temporary. The spiritual world is eternal. That is the main point that will be conveyed in these 2 verses, 20 and 21. And the fact that the material world, the spiritual world, is different from material world. Many people have this understanding, Arey, Swarg to yahi hai. Or, well, Swarg is material world, the Swarga planet. But हाँ, Bhagwan bhi yahi hai, sab kuch yahi hai. Everything is here and on this planet itself. So they have these kind of understandings that, there is nothing called spiritual world beyond the material world. It will be very clear from these verses that the material world is different. The spiritual world is different from the material world, and is eternal, and it is superior. Maybe that spiritual world is inferior to the material world. Maybe it's different, fine, but it may be inferior. No. So all these points will be clarified, that it is superior, that it is different from the material world, it is not temporary, and it is eternal. And few other points will be clarified. So the nature of the spiritual world and its distinct existence, or its distinct properties from the material world, will be mentioned. Okay, so now we will go into 8.20. Okay. 8.20. Parastasmat tu bhavo anyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. So, first line, parastasmat tu bhavo anyo, anya. So the first focus I want to give is anya. Anya means different. Parastasmat tu bhavo anyo. Parastasmat. Paras means para. Para means beyond. To this material world. Tasmat tu. To this material world. Beyond this material world, there is another bhava, or there is another nature a different nature. So that is what is being said. There's a different nature from the material world. Avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha. It is sanatana, sanatana. So that is another word we will focus on. Sanatana means eternal. It's not temporary. It doesn't become avyakto avyaktat. It is not subject to manifestation and unmanifestation. So it doesn't go through these cycles of day and night or creation and destruction. It is eternal. It is sanatana. So it is not avyakto avyaktat. Yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati. So the last two quartlets we will read together. Yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu. When everything is destroyed, nashyastu sarveshu bhuteshu, when all living entities and everything is destroyed, na vinashyati. Yah sa na vinashyati. This one, this what is being referred to as the paras or the sanatanaha, this spiritual world, which is different from the material world, is na vinashyati, which means it is not subject to destruction. Or we can also say it is never destroyed. Okay, so all these points are clear. I'm again going to mute you. Kindly keep yourself muted. Okay, best is to not touch your device, then it will not auto unmute. Okay, so all these points have been made in this verse. Is it clear? Now, what is that material world? 8.21. Or what is that? Sorry, spiritual world. So it is different. It is anya, it is eternal, and it is not subject to destruction. These points have been made in this verse. So let us see. You can still see my screen, correct? For some reason, I cannot see. I cannot make sure. So yeah, you can see. Yes. Okay, great. Awesome. One second. Yeah. So 8.21. So here, what do we see? Some key points that we will see is that here we saw it is different, it is eternal, and it is not destroyed. So we know, or we get some sense that it is superior. Something gets destroyed is obviously inferior to something that is permanent, isn't it? A cheap phone, gets becomes useless faster if you buy the most expensive phone or whatever device or whatever. It lasts longer, right? Mehenga roe ek bar, sasta roe bar bar. So because it keeps getting broken, but a good quality thing lasts for longer time. So spiritual world is never destroyed. We get a sense that it is superior. In 21, we will get a absolute confirmation that the spiritual world is superior. That is first point. The second point we will understand is that it is Krishna's location. It is Krishna's home. That is where Krishna lives. That in the spiritual world, which is the superior. And not only it is superior, Lord Krishna will go one level ahead and say that it is topmost. There is nothing more superior to it. This is the topmost. And it is Krishna's home. And the third and most important point is that we can also go there. It's not just Krishna's home. Like from sitting here, we can see White House, where President lives, right? Big lawns, nice fountains, nice green grass. But hey, I cannot go there ever. Correct? But that is not the case. That is superior. Not only it is superior, it is eternal. Not only that, it is the topmost. Not only that, Krishna lives there, Not only that, we can also go there. These are the points being made in this verse. And finally, once we go there, we remain there permanently. If you go in the United States to Washington, D.C., sometimes you can visit the White House. If you get special permission of, something, if the president is not in the building on that day, he's traveling outside, then somehow you can get a tour of some portion of White House. But what happens after the tour? They kick you out. You cannot say, from today, I will live in the White House. Can you say that? No. But here, Lord Krishna is saying, once one goes there, one remains there permanently. So all these beautiful points are going to be made in 8.21. Okay. So let us see 8.21. Avyakto akshara iti uktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. So let us dissect each line. Avyakto akshara iti uktas. Iti uktas means what is being said here, or what is said by the wise or the Vedas, by the self-realized people. Iti uktas. Avyakto akshara, what is known as the avyakta, the unmanifest. What we saw here as sanatana, eternal, or unmanifest means unmanifest to the material eyes. We cannot see the spiritual world with our material eyes. So it is avyakta to our material eyes. Akshara means eternal. So it is eternal or infallible. So this avyakto akshara iti yuktas, what the learned people or the self-realized people call it as avyakta and akshara, tam ahuhu paramam gatim, not parama. But if you see paramam in Sanskrit, when you say paramam, it becomes not just parama, not just a high destination. Paramam means highest. So it is adding that, Sanskrit grammar little bit, whatever I have learned. Paramam gatim means highest, not just a high enough, but highest. So it is topmost that we have seen, right? Tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante. Yam prapya, ek bar prapti ho jaye, once you reach there, yam prapya na nivartante. Nivartante means coming back. So no coming back. You remain there permanently. So we got this point. We got this point. All right. Tad dhama paramam mama. Mama means what? Mine. Who is speaking this verse? Krishna. So Tadhama, that place is my home. Paramam mama, that is my home. So it is Krishna's home. And we can go there. That is also obvious. Yam prapya na nivartante. Once one reaches there, he does not come back. It means it can be reached. It is obvious from the logic, right? If I say, once you come to my house, I will never let you go back. What does it mean? It means that you can come to my house, right? There is some road, there is some pathway to my house. Otherwise, why will I say, once you come to my house, you will never go back? That means there has to be some path for you to reach my house. Isn't it? It's just simple logic. So Lord Krishna is saying that Tadhama paramam mama and yam prapya na nivartante. Once one attains it, one never comes back. So we can also go there. Isn't it? In the next verse, by the way, 8.22, Lord Krishna will say how one can reach there. What is the path? What are the directions? The GPS directions, turn left, turn right, this, that, the whole thing, Lord, I'm just making it a lighter, in a lighter way I'm expressing, but Lord Krishna will say the path also. So it can be reached. So all these points you can see here. Is it making sense? These points are being made here. So here Lord Krishna is very nicely, very kindly describing that he has this residence. It is the topmost residence. Paramam, paramam gatim. Gatim means where one can go, gati. So you can go there and it's the topmost place you can go. And he's saying you will never come back. It's the topmost place. Who wants to come back from the best place, topmost place? Nobody will want to. And he's saying, I live there. Tad dhama paramam mama. That is my home also. So you can live in the home of Krishna, obviously with Krishna, because Krishna will also live in his home. So all these beautiful points are being made in this verse. And this should inspire us to find that pathway, to find the directions, left, right, whatever, that will take us and go to Krishna's house and live there permanently with him. And it's the topmost, best place to live. We will be the happiest. And analogy that Srila Prabhupada and Acharyas give is that for a child, the best place is the home of his parents. Any other place, he will be uneasy, he will be disturbed, he will be fearful. But even if the parents' house is small, he finds that the most happy place. So this is the place of our Father, Krishna. And we will be internally the happiest when we are with our Father. We don't realize that right now, but we will be happy. The happiest. So this is the inspiration for us to go to Krishna's dham. Tad dham paramam mama. So we should be inspired to go to Krishna's dham. Now comes another beautiful verse. What are the directions? GPS directions. So let's read Srila Prabhupada's translation of 8.21 very quickly. That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, avyakta and akshara, that which is known as the supreme destination, paramam gatim, paramam, not param, paramam gatim, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. Yaprapya na nivartante. That is my supreme abode. वो मेरा घर है. Tadhama paramam mama. This verse, by the way, has a very strong, the same verse. This is very, very important verse. Is the last line is the same in 15th chapter, 16th verse. If you look at the chapter 15.6, chapter 15 is a very important chapter. Someday we will get to chapter 15. And Lord Krishna gives little more description about the, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Yat gatva nanidvartante taddhama paramam mama.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful. So I don't know why can you see my Chromebook screen or not?
Yes, I could see.
No.
You can see.
We see only iPad here.
Yeah.
Do you see the Veda base?
No,
Prabhuji.
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. Sorry. Now you see iPad?
Yeah, now we can see Veda base.
Yes.
Veda base, I mean, yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So Lord Krishna gives little more information about his place. Na tad bhasyate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. So you see the last line is almost the same. This one says, yam prapya na nivartante. This says, yad gatva. same thing. Yad prapya means ones who attains it, or yad gatva means ones who goes there. Na nivartante, never comes back. And na tad bhasayate suryo. There is no sun, there is no need for sun to give sunlight. Na shashanka, na pavakaha. There is no need for all these things because Krishna is providing everything. Here in the material world, our parents, yes, they provide for the children, but they also depend on other sources. If there is no vegetation, there is no rice, there is no vegetables, what will the parents feed the child? They cannot produce on their own. They also depend on God, on God's products to provide for the child, to feed the child. But in the spiritual world, Lord Krishna provides everything. There is no need for any of these external sources because he is the source of all sources, of all resources. So there is no need for sun, moon, fire, electricity, nothing like that. Lord Krishna takes care of everybody in the spiritual world very nicely. Yam prapya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Okay, very nice. So we will switch to the whiteboard. I hope you can see the whiteboard now. Okay.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
that is my supreme abode. Now 22. Now how do we get to that place? It's a very beautiful place. It seems like topmost place. Krishna lives there. We will be very happy. We don't have to return back. It's not a two-way ticket. It's a one-way ticket. But how do we go there? So let us see how we go there. So what are the directions? Any ideas?
Bhakti.
Yes, bhakti. But what by some word you have to add before bhakti? What kind of bhakti?
Nitya Yukta Ek Bhakti.
Okay, Nitya Yukta Ek Bhakti. Okay, very nice. So, very nice. However, we will focus on one word here from these three words. The most important word is
Krishna Bhakti.
Ek Bhakti. Of course, Krishna's Bhakti. Bhakti to Krishna. That is implied, but we will write it. Fine. Ek Bhakti. And in this verse 8.22, the same aspect is mentioned, but a different word is used. Ananya.
Ananya.
Ananya Bhakti. Ananya Bhakti. That is the direction. These are the directions, GPS directions. All right. Ananya Bhakti is the direction. So that is what we will realize from 8.22 verse. So let us see. Purushah sa parah partha bhaktya labhyastva ananyaya. I will read it again. Bhaktya labhyastva ananyaya. So you can see the word bhakti and ananya. Yasyantahsthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. So that is the verse. Let us go into the each line by line. So Lord Krishna is saying, Purushah sa parah partha. That supreme person, Purusha means person. Parah, that supreme person, Parah Purush. Who is the Param Purush? Lord Krishna. And why that is being used here? Param Purush. Because he is the resident of the Param Dham. So Param Purusha resides in Param Dham. भाई परम धाम में परम पुरुष रहेंगे ना, कोई ऐसा कोई एरा गहरा थोड़ी रहेगा. व्हाइट हाउस में who lives? Some Tom, Dick and Harry lives in White House? No, the president lives in White House, isn't it? They say that in the news they say the White House has said, isn't it? White House. White House is a house. House can say anything. Can house say anything? No, house cannot say anything. But the White House is a representative of the person living in the White House. So when they say the White House has given this order, what does it mean? Who has given the order? The building, the concrete, the carpet, they have given the order? No. The person living in the White House is giving the order. That's what they said, right? So Param Purusha, why is Param Purusha being mentioned? There are two reasons. One is because it is referring to the person who is living in the Param Dham, which has been referred in the previous verse. And the other reason of mentioning Param Purusha is because if you, now this is a technical reason for the people who are doing Bhakti Shastri and other deeper, technical understanding. This is not, if you don't understand, that's totally fine. In the some of the previous verses of 8th chapter, a comparison between chapter 6 and chapter 7 was given. This was called as the Dhyana Mishra Bhakti. You understand? We talked about this concept. Now, this verse is referring to the fact that, yes, it is the same Param Purusha. The focus of Dhyana Mishra Bhakti, if you see there, the reference was there to the Param Purush. And Lord Krishna was talking about himself in the third person terms. Okay? So the fact is that what is being mentioned is that that same person, which is none other than Krishna, please understand carefully, should not be achieved by Dhyana Mishra Bhakti. Dhyana Mishra Bhakti is a inferior. It's not like low class. Inferior just means little bit lower. There is something superior to Dhyana Mishra Bhakti, which is what?
Ananya Bhakti.
Ananya Bhakti, yes. So Lord Krishna is giving a clarification here that to reach my supreme destination, it's not through Dhyana Mishra Bhakti. Another name is Yoga Mishra Bhakti. It is Ananya Bhakti. Another name for Ananya Bhakti is Kevala Bhakti. Basically, all it means is exclusive Bhakti. Nothing else. Two things. Exclusive Bhakti means no other process. Process. No other process and towards no other person. So exclusivity with regard to the process of bhakti and exclusivity with regard to the person to whom bhakti is performed. Jinke aap bhakt hain. Whose bhakt are you? Okay? Like Hanumanji, exclusive. Absolutely exclusive to Lord Ram. He's the epitome, the best one of the best examples of bhakti. Exclusive bhakti to Lord Ram, Lord Shri Ram. Okay, so that kind of bhakti. So that is why Lord is saying here, Purusha sa para partha. He is not saying something like aham or something like that. He is referring to that to make that connection. Anyway, so that was a technical point. But the next line is Bhaktya labhyastva ananya. Labhyas means what? Is achieved. So it is the pathway. It is the directions. Labhyas. To the GPS, you say, tell me how to go. Labhyas. If you were to speak in Sanskrit to the GPS, you would say something like, Labhyas gattim. How do I get to that destination? So labh means to achieve. Labh. Labh means gain. Achieve. So how do you achieve that destination? Bhaktya, the devotees achieve this destination through ananyaya, through exclusive bhakti. Okay. And exclusive bhakti to whom? to Lord Krishna, and then he is describing two more attributes about himself. Yasyantahsthani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. So we will quickly focus on these two lines. But before that, are you clear about this? The main focus of this verse is how to attain Krishna through ananya bhakti, not through dhyana mishra or yoga mishra bhakti. If you want the highest, just not, and I don't want to deride this. This is not bad. What we are doing is bad. Materialism, sense gratification, eat, drink and be merry. Khao piyo mast raho. Bhagwan kaun hai? मेरे को क्या मतलब? भगवान है जहां पे भगवान रहेंगे. Let God be happy where he is happy. I'll be happy over here. That is our situation. So obviously, dhyana mishra bhakti, yoga mishra bhakti is so wonderful. So it's not like one should look down upon it, but Lord Krishna is saying ananya bhakti is the best. And not only it is the best, but it is easier, much easier. This we had seen in 8.14. Sulabha, the word that was used was sulabha. It is easy compared to the other form of bhakti, the dhyana mishra bhakti. So you should listen to those lectures, the previous one, because just previously Lord had said how difficult dhyana mishra bhakti is. And then right after that he says, but my ananya bhakti is very sulabha. So not only is ananya bhakti superior, it is easier. Okay. So that is what is being explained in this verse. That is the main point of this verse, is ananya bhakti to Lord Shri Krishna. Now, last two sentences, 8.22, C and D. All that Lord Krishna is saying, yasyantahsthani bhutani. Everything resides in Krishna. Okay. Yasya means in whom, or in whom, antasthani, inside him, antasthana. Anta means andar. Bahyasthan means bahar, outside. Antasthana means inside. So antasthani, yasya antasthani, within whom, inside, bhutani, everything is there. So within Krishna, everything exists. Okay. That is what is being said here. Everything resides in Krishna. When Mother Yashoda saw in Krishna's mouth, what did she see?
The whole universe.
The whole universe.
So everything is in Krishna, correct? And yena sarvam idam tatam. But who is present everywhere? He is present in everything. Everywhere he is present. Is he present in this pencil?
Yes.
Anybody
Yes.
says no?
Yes.
Yes. Remember who asked this question? Is he present in this pillar? Who asked? Is he present in the pillar?
Hiranyakashipu.
Hiranyakashipu. And what did he realize? He thought nobody is present in the pillar. Huh? We sing a prayer. What is that? Lord Nrsimhadev's prayer. How does it? Bahir Nrsimho. I'm not getting that exact line.
Vahi
You can
Narsimho,
say-
Hridaya Narsimho.
Hridaya Nrsimha.
Yeah, go ahead and say the full line.
Vahi Nrsimha, Hridaya Nrsimha, Nrsimha Madim Sharanam Prapati.
Before that, how does it start?
Ito Narsimho, Parata Narsimho.
Ito Nrsimho, Parato Nrsimho.
Parato Nrsimho.
Lord Nrsimha is
Yato
here.
yato yam.
Lord Nrsimha is there. What is the
Yeah.
name? Ito Nrsimho, Parato
Yato
Nrsimho,
yato
Narsingha
nam.
Madim Sharanam Prabhadye.
Yato
Or Bahir Nrsimho, Hridaye Nrsimho.
Hridaye Nrsimho.
Lord Nrsimha is outside and he is also inside in the Hridaya. So the Lord is everywhere, isn't it? That is the prayer we sing. So Lord is inside everything as well. So everything is in Krishna and Krishna is in everything. Do you see a paradox here? If everything is in Krishna, then how can Krishna be in everything? Isn't it? So such is the Supreme Lord. We will clarify this paradox in 9.4. So very soon we will reach next class. Hopefully we will reach 9.4. So we will discuss this paradox. How to understand this paradox. Okay. So that is what Lord Krishna is mentioning about himself. That yasya antasthani bhutani. That person, what is being referred to here as the Param Purush, he is antasthani bhutani. Within him, in him, everything is there. And yena sarvam idam tatam. And he is everywhere as well, which means he's everywhere. He's outside this pencil, inside this pencil, outside the pillar, inside the pillar, everywhere he is. So that is what is being mentioned here. We will go deeper into this topic in 9.4. Okay. Let me look at my notes and see if I need to cover any other point. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so I have covered all the points, I think. Now, next section, new section in chapter number 8. This new section goes from 8.23 to 8.26. 4 verses. Okay. So here Lord Krishna is describing the destination. So those who are doing, first of all, ananya bhakti, right? Where do they go? Krishna's home. Correct? They go to Krishna's home. Now, those who are not performing ananya bhakti, what about them? Right? What happens to those people? Those who are not performing ananya bhakti. So Lord Krishna is going to describe their destination and their pathway. Destination plus pathway. Correct? Here also in the previous verses, Lord Krishna has described the destination and the pathway. Isn't it? Destination is what? Tad dhama paramam mama. And pathway is ananya bhakti. Now, what about the other, those who are not performing ananya bhakti, but are performing other spiritual practice? Other spiritual practice. Now, these verses are not referring to materialists. Okay? Those who are khao piyo mast raho, eat, drink, be merry. Their destination, Lord Krishna already described in the previous verses. They keep going round and round from one species to another species to another species based on the karma. That has been described before, isn't it? But those who are performing other spiritual practices, and our acharyas describe 2 specific categories: karma yogis and Jnana Yogis. This we can say are less advanced and are more, Jnana Yogis are more advanced. So what are their destinations and the pathway to that destination? All right. That is going to be described in these next 4 verses, 23 to 26. And the purpose, you will see Lord Krishna is describing, why Lord Krishna is describing is for sake of completeness. So that the Bhaktas who are starting on the path of Bhakti, they are not confused. Okay, I am doing ananya Bhakti, but I am being told you should do this also, you should do that also, this also, everything. Then it becomes one big khichdi, hodgepodge. So what to do and what not to do? All right, following? That is the purpose. So Lord Krishna is giving the whole theory, and then he will say in the next 2 verses, those are the last 2 verses, 8.27 and 8.28. He will say, don't worry about this. Don't worry about 23, 24, 25, 26. He will say that, which clearly shows it is for sake of completeness, to understand what we should focus on and what we should not get confused by. Lord Krishna is explaining everything so nicely, so clearly. If you just read the Bhagavad Gita carefully, you will understand. Many people don't read the Bhagavad Gita and then they say it is very complicated. Bhagavad Gita is very straightforward. You just need to read it carefully. Okay, so let us go through 8.23. All right. Yet, okay, so I have explained the essence of these verses. Yeah, so we can now read the verse itself. Yatra kale tva anavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshabha. So this verse is saying that yatra kale tva anavrittim, at which time one does not come back. Yatra kale, at what time? Kala means time. Tva anavrittim. Anavrittim means does not come. No return. He stays there. And avrittim chaiva yoginaha. Which type of yogi? Avrittim comes back. So some yogis don't come back. Some yogis come back. Okay. Prayata yanti tam kalam. That depends also on the time when they depart, when they die or leave the body. Prayata. Prayata means, like they say, prayana kale cha manasa chalena. Prayana kale, at the time of death. Prayata means at the time of dying. Prayata. So at having departed, yanti tam kalam, they attain what kind of destination? They will attain at what time? Vakshyami bharatarshaba. Vaksha ami bharatarshaba. I will now tell you. So it is like a starting verse, introductory verse to the next few verses. All right. So essentially, Lord Krishna is saying, now I am going to, so Srila Prabhupada's translation is, O best of Bharatas, Bharatarshabha, now I shall explain you, Vakshyami, the different times at which yatra kale prayata, passing away from this world, the yogi does or does not come back. Anavrittim, avrittim. All right. So now I'm going to explain, depending on the time, how one goes and comes back or doesn't come back. He goes and stays there, doesn't come back. All right. So let us see. The details will be revealed in the next 2 verses. So 8.23 is a intro verse to this section. What section is this? 8.23 to 8.26. So it's an intro verse, introductory. So the details are in 8.24 and 8.25. These are the details. So let us look at 8.24. Okay, so like I said, there are two categories. I called it as advanced or more advanced and less advanced. Guess who comes back to the material world? Avrittim, the more advanced one or the less advanced one?
Listen.
More advanced.
Who
More
comes
advanced.
back to the material world?
More advanced.
More
Less
advanced.
Less advanced.
Less advanced.
Less
And he
advanced.
comes back to material world. More advanced does not come back to material world. Okay. So we will see which one is which. So 8.24 is talking about the more advanced spiritual practitioner. He is known as, there is a technical term that Lord Krishna has used, Brahma viduh, which means who has knowledge, Brahma Jnana. Knowledge of the Brahman. Okay. So 8.24 is talking about the more advanced spiritual practitioner. He is the Jnana Yogi. He has Brahma Jnana. Okay. And when he goes from this material world, so remember this picture that we had shown earlier. This is spiritual world. You know, I can complete that picture. And then this is material world. And what is there in between?
Brahma jyoti.
Brahma jyoti. Very nice. So I will remove this. So the jnani, the more advanced devotee, or not devotee because he's not a bhakta, he's a jnani. He goes here. This is the destination. Brahma jyoti is the destination. So he is going to the spiritual side. He's going out of the material world, but he is not going into the spiritual world. He is staying in the Brahma jyoti. And he does not come back from the Brahma jyoti. Okay. So that is being explained in this verse. All right. So let us read this verse 8.24. So just remember the background is what? It is talking about the more advanced spiritual practitioner who is known as the Brahma viduh, which means he has Brahma Jnana or a Jnana Yogi. He does not go to the spiritual world as such. The Param Tad Dhama Paramam Mama. He does. That's not the Param Dhama. Krishna resides in the spiritual world. So, but he does not go there. Where he goes to the Brahma jyoti. And from there, he does not come back. Okay. He stays in the Brahma jyoti. There is no coming back. He stays there. There is another important point I will explain here. Another important point to be explained. Please pay attention when I explain it. So I explained the destination. Did I explain the pathway? Well, yes, I explained the pathway because the pathway is through Jnana Yoga. Correct? So, but there is little bit more detail to the pathway I will explain, and which is also mentioned in this verse. It's an important technical point to understand. So let us look at 8.24. Agnir jyotir aha shukla shadmasa uttarayanam tatra prayata gachanti Brahma viduh jana. So, Agnir jyotir aha shukla. So, what this means is that Agni jyoti. So, we will pay attention to this word Agni jyoti. So, this is the, we can say, the vehicle. This is the on which they go, or so to say, I mean, vehicle is a loose term that I am using. You can think of it like the energy of Agni or fire god, but our acharyas explain this is the sun god. By harnessing the energy of the sun god, Agnir Jyotir, plus, so by harnessing or by invoking or accessing this energy, plus at the right time. What is that time? Shukla Paksha. You understand what is Shukla Paksha? The 14 days of the waxing moon, when the moon is becoming bigger. It's known as the Shukla Paksha. There are two Pakshas, Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha. So Shukla Paksha means the fortnight of waxing moon. So, or when the sun is in Uttarayana, which means it is in the northern hemisphere. For 6 months, the sun is in Uttarayana. For 6 months, the sun is in Dakshinayana. We will not go into all the deep details of this, but the main point is at the right time. Either Shukla Paksha or Uttarayana, based on the moon or the sun. At the right time, by accessing the energy of the sun god. So Agnir Jyotir Aha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam. Okay. Tatra Prayata Gachanti. Those who die or pass away in that time and are able to access this energy, Agnir Jyoti, they go where? Brahma. They go to the Brahman. Gachanti Brahma. What people? Brahma vido janaha. The people who are Brahma vida, who are knowledgeable about Brahman, they go to Brahma or Brahman. Okay. So is it clear what is being said in this verse? So few things that are being said. Now what is not being said here in this verse is that they never come back. That is not said in 8.24, but it will be said in 8.26. So just hold that. I did not lie when I said they don't come back. That is true, but it will be clarified in 8.26. 8.24 is saying those yogis who are the Brahma vidus, who have this Brahma Jnana, they at the right time, they access this energy of the sun god and go to Brahma Jyoti or Brahman. Do you follow? So what do you need? Just to make sure you understand very, very, very clearly, there is an important point here. So here we are talking about the Jnana Yogis. Please pay attention. This is important even for bhakti. Okay, this is not a very deep, I mean, it is a technical point, but a very important bhakti point is being made. So the Jnana Yogis, what they have to do, they need the qualification. What is the qualification they need? They need Brahma Jnana. Okay? And they need the right timing. What is the right timing? Whatever, Uttarayana or Shukla Paksha, etc. They need the right timing. Then they can go to Brahma Jyoti. All right. That is like saying, and then they never come back. That will be in verse number 26, but I'm adding it right now. It's like saying if you are living, let's say, somewhere, and let's just say that Paris, you want to go to Paris. It's a very, nice destination and, very famous, very whatever. So for what do you need to go to Paris? And you have to buy a house. So you need to have a lot of money, because you want to just go to Paris and live there, not come back to America or India, wherever you're going from. All right. So you need a lot of money. You need qualification. And using the money, you need to buy a ticket, right? First class ticket in aeroplane, isn't it? And you need to show up at the airport at the right time. Even if you have ticket, but you miss the flight, will you be able to go? No. So you need to have the qualification or the money, let's say, to go and stay there. You need to buy the ticket and you need to catch the flight at the right time. Then the flight will take you to Paris and then you can stay there. Isn't it? That is what is being said here. These yogis, these Jnana Yogis, they can ride on the energy of the sun god. That vehicle, that aeroplane that I talked about is the vehicle of the sun god. That is known as Agni Jyoti. So this is how these Jnana Yogis go to Brahman. It is being described here. So I can just, just kind of I can say that this is a aeroplane, This is the aeroplane on which the Jnana Yogi sits and goes to the spiritual or this Brahman. This aeroplane is Agni Jyoti. This is the vehicle on which they sit. This vehicle is going to leave at a certain time. So the yogis have to wait. So there are so many yogis like that who have the power to control when to die. And they will die when it is Uttarayana or Shukla Paksha. And with their power of their yoga, they can get on this Agni Jyoti, get on this aeroplane and go to Brahman. Are you following? Okay?
Sorry, I'm not getting this point that they have to get on this plane, Agni Jyoti.
Well,
is it different from the yoga they do?
Yes. So this is a complex point. I myself don't understand the details, but by the Jnana Yoga, you have to invoke the energy of
Agni.
Surya Deva.
Okay.
And then he, puts you on his Agni Jyoti, and through that Agni Jyoti path, you go to the Brahma Jyoti. These are, for me also, these are just words. I cannot explain the mechanics and how it all works. It's beyond me. Okay.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Okay, but the important point, the bhakti point. Now I want to mention the important bhakti point. So please pay attention. If you did not understand the previous one, like Madam said, I did not understand. And I will be honest, I also don't understand. But the important point to understand is the bhakti point, which I am going to make. So wake up. Everybody wake up. This is the important point. In bhakti, all that we have to do, we just need to perform ananya bhakti. That's all. We do not have to choose the right time. We do not have to stand in the airport. Okay, when the plane arrives, I must get on it. If I miss the plane, I'm gone. My whole plane ticket that I purchased is wasted. You do not have to worry about that. In bhakti, Krishna will pick you from wherever you are. He will airlift you and take you with him. That is the beauty. So this is a contrast. Lord Krishna is saying in all these other forms of yoga, it is your duty to earn the qualification and to show up at the right time, at the right place, and then you can go. It's all your effort. But in bhakti, everything is Krishna's effort. You have to be like a little dog. I was explaining the example of a dog. How does a dog behave? Dog just loves the master. The master even cleans the dog poop. He takes him in his Mercedes car wherever he goes. He takes him to ice cream parlor. He will eat ice cream. His dog will also eat ice cream. Have you ever seen any dog or any other animal living in the forest eating ice cream? No. But a dog eats ice cream. Why? Because simply he is a devotee of his master. He just loves the master. The master carries him everywhere. That is the beauty of devotional service or ananya bhakti. Otherwise, if you are a different animal, donkey or whatever else, you have to work hard to go to the green grass, eat the grass, and then, go to the pond and drink water. It's all your effort. But if you do bhakti, you do not have to purchase the ticket. You do not have to go to the right place at the right time to board the right vehicle. Everything is done for you. That is the contrast that Lord Krishna is bringing out here. Please try to understand this. Yes, Prabhuji, you have a point?
Yeah, I have a question. I put it in the chat box also so that I don't miss it. The question is, can a jiva select the time of departure from this planet? And if yes, what is to be done?
Okay, let me answer that question. Please remind me. I don't want to answer it right now. It is best answered if I answer it after the 27th and 28th verse.
Okay.
Is that okay? Because the context will be set by that time. It will be the best way to answer your question once we have covered the last two verses.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So please remind me. So this is the important point. So whenever we are discussing these things, using the right vehicle at the right time, etc., in bhakti, you must understand no such constraints exist. Another thing that I wanted to clarify is that this verse, which is, so let's read the translation of 8.24 by Srila Prabhupada. So we'll just read the translation, and I want to clear one misunderstanding about this verse. So the translation is, those who know the Supreme Brahman attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery God. This is the sun God. During the influence of, I called it, by accessing the energy of. So during the influence of the fiery God, in the light, at an auspicious moment of the day, during the fortnight of the waxing moon, Shukla Paksha, or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north, Uttarayana. So this verse is one of the misunderstandings many people have of this verse is, if I die during that time, then I will automatically go to this place called Brahman. What is written here? Brahma, Brahma vido janaha. So I will go to Brahman just by dying at the right time. Huh? That is not the right understanding. If you go to some airport, let's say in some India or some other, even in US, we have airports. Have you seen homeless people outside the airport? Or beggars outside the airport? I don't want to, I'm sorry, I take back the homeless part. I don't want to say any, homeless people are unfortunate. They have lost their home. But let's say, those who are just standing there, without a plane ticket, they are at the airport. Can they take the flight? They cannot take the flight because they do not have the qualification to get on the flight. So just being at the place at the right time is not the answer. Somebody say, oh, I just want to die in Uttarayana. I just want to die in Krishna Shukla Paksh. Then I will go to Brahman. That is nonsense. You have to be the Brahma viduh also. What about that? So this verse should not be this is a big misunderstanding. Oh, wo to Uttarayana mein unka nidhan hua. They died in Uttarayana, so he has been, gone to Brahman. No. Is he a Brahma viduh? Does he have knowledge of Brahman? That is like saying he has gone to the airport, so he has gone to Paris. Arey Baba, wo airport, so he has gone. Does he have a plane ticket? Otherwise, how will he reach Paris? Just going to the airport or showing up at the airport at the time when the plane is leaving doesn't get you the qualification to get on the plane. So this is a misunderstanding I wanted to clarify. Okay. 8.25. Now this is the opposite verse. The less advanced yogis. They are the karma yogis. So they are also yogis. They are trying to perfect themselves through karma yoga. But they have not fully perfected themselves. What happens to them? That is being explained in this verse. So let me see if there are other points that I wanted to cover. Yeah, okay. So 8.25 is talking about one who passes away in the Dakshinayana. One who has first of all performed karma yoga, he is still a yogi. So the first thing is qualification. He is a yogi. What kind of a yogi? A karma yogi. This karma yogi is being explained by our acharyas. This is not directly in the verse, but the word yogi is there and we need to understand it's a less advanced compared to previous verse. Okay. And this is the qualification and the timing is Dakshinayana. When the sun is in the southern hemisphere, I'm not going to go into details. I want to go faster. Or in the Krishna Paksha. This Krishna doesn't have anything to do with Lord Krishna. Krishna Paksha means the fortnight of the waning moon. Krishna means black. Okay, that's because Lord Krishna is black, but when the moon wanes, it becomes darker. When at the end of waning moon, what do you get? Purnamasi or Amavasya?
Amavasya.
Amavasya. Yes. So it is getting darker and darker. That's why it's called Krishna Paksha. So this timing and with this qualification and what is the vehicle, so to say, by harnessing or accessing the energy of moon god, one goes to the destination is what? Not Brahma Jyoti, but the moon planet. which is considered a higher planet, where one goes and enjoys material luxury. And this also refers to other higher planets. Okay, so one gets material luxuries, but then after it is all consumed, one comes back to the material world, to this not material world, but to this earth planet, where again one gets a chance to perform bhakti. Okay, so all these points are being made about 8.25. So I'm leaving this slide here and we will read 8.25 quickly. Dhumo ratris.
With respect to Earth,
Sorry?
higher planet is in comparison to Earth planet?
Comparison to Earth. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Where you enjoy long life, no disease, a lot of luxury, and you have a very good time. It's like going to Hawaii or Bahamas or whatever, Maldives for vacation, but it is not permanent. That's why I said you buy a house in Paris. Here you don't buy a house. Let's say you go to Paris maybe, but it's not Paris, it's not Brahma Jyoti, it's some other local nearby destination, and you come back. So it is like a vacation. You cannot stay in the hotel forever. After your 7 days are over, hotel, you cannot say, "Nahi, I'm going to stay in this room." The hotel manager will come and say, "Chalo bhai, niklo yahan se. Your time is up. Please leave." Right? So you have to come back. So the destination is moon planet, but it is not permanent destination. The planet itself is not permanent. What to speak of the destination? Okay. So I will leave all these points here and we will read 8.25. Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna shanmasa dakshinayanam tatra chandramasam jyotir yogi prapya nivartate. So here the word nivartate is coming, which means he comes back. In the previous verse, there was no thing like na nivartante, but that will be mentioned in 26. So that is one quick point, but let's see. Dhumo ratris tatha Krishna. At the time of smoke, I don't really understand the deeper meanings here of smoke, but dhumo ratris tatha Krishna. So at the time of smoke or at the time of night or Krishna Paksha, the fortnight of the waning moon, or Shanmasa, the 6 months of Dakshinayanam, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere. There, Chandramasam Jyotir. What was there in the previous verse? Agni Jyotir. Correct? So here it is Chandramasam Jyotir, by harnessing the energy of Chandra. Yogi Prapya Nivartate. So the yogi, the less advanced, again, the karma yogi, as acharyas have explained, the yogi, the less advanced, the yogi attains the moon planet, but Nivartate, they come back. All right. So they have this much qualification. So if you have less money, you're not so rich to go to Paris, buy a house there and live forever. You have less money, which means you have earned less. Okay. Then you can go to this little place called Moon Planet, enjoy for some time and come back. But you still have to show up at the airport at the right time, catch the right plane, have the ticket. So you have to have the timing and the vehicle. Okay. The vehicle of the moon energy of moon god, and at the right time. Krishna Paksha, Dakshinayana, and all those things. All right. Okay, so that is 8.25. So it's 24, 25 has explained all the details of the non-bhaktas, non-bhakta yogi, the other types of yogis. So 8.26 is just a quick summary. Quick summary of the previous 3 verses. 8.23 to 8.25. These 3 verses. So 8.26. Shukla Krishne gati hyete jagatah shashvate mate ekaya yati anavrittim anyaya avartate punah. So here the word anavrittim is there. Anavritti means does not return. So like I was telling you. So the translation is, according to the Vedic opinion, there are two ways of passing from this world. Okay, what are the two ways? Shukle Krishne, one in light, one in darkness. So here it is being summarized. Lord Krishna is, again, he's not mentioning Uttarayana, Dakshinayana, this and that. He's just saying there are two ways, the light and passing in the light and dark. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete, Jagatah Shashvate Mate, means according to the Vedas, there are two ways of passing from this world. And when one passes in light, in one of them, Ekaya Yati Anavrittim, when passing in one of them, which happens to be in the light or in the previous, which is referring to 8.24, Anavrittim, you don't come back. So I was mentioned, I told you. So that is being mentioned here. Anyaya, the other one, Anyaya, Avartate Punaha, he again comes back. Avartate. All right? Clear? So the summary is, there are two ways. One way and one does not come back. And one comes back. That is 8.26. Okay? Okay, now comes 8.27 and 8.28. Very important verses. Very, very, very important. What is Lord Krishna saying here? Devotees, do not need to worry about these two methods. Don't need to worry about this. Not only that, you don't need to worry, plus devotees get all the benefits anyway from these two methods. Not only that, they surpass the benefits. Okay, so that is the essence. So therefore, do not get confused by these methods. What methods? Methods of jnana, karma, etc. Because they will lead you either to Brahma Jyoti or to higher planets, but not Paramam Gatim, the highest place. So that is what Lord Krishna is saying. Do not get confused by these methods. So let us see what Lord Krishna says in the 27th verse, 8.27. Naite sriti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. So here Lord Krishna is saying yoga yukto bhava Arjuna. So the word yoga yukto means being engaged. The literal meaning, word by word meaning, is engaged in yoga. But what kind of yoga requires engagement? If you, from all the previous contexts and from the contextual understanding of this verse, of this chapter also, this yoga yukto bhava Arjuna is referring to Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Acharyas have explained as well that this is Bhakti Yoga. And in 8.28, Lord Krishna will describe many attributes of the other types of yoga, like jnana, tapa, dana, etc., etc. We will see karma, karma phala, etc. And he's saying, don't do this. So he's negating all other types of yoga. And in 8.27, he is saying, yoga yukto bhava Arjuna. All this put together points to, this whole thing points to bhakti. Okay. So 8.27 and 8.28 are talking about bhakti yoga. So let us see, let us go through this verse or go line by line. Naite sriti partha janan. Janan means jo janta hai, one who knows. Janan means to know or to janana. So one who knows these paths, he never, naiti, this never will be used in the next line. So he does not, or he never, Nai ite shriti partha janan, who knows these shritis or these paths. What he does not do? Yogi muhyati kaschana. Muhyati means to get bewildered, to get mohit, or to get illusioned or confused. So na muhyati, he does not get confused. A yogi. What yogi? A yukta yogi, which will be clarified in the next line, which is bhakta yogi, bhakti yogi. So what is Lord Krishna is saying? A bhakti yogi, even if he knows these two paths, or although, not even if, although he knows these, he does not get bewildered or get deviated by these paths. Therefore, tasmat, I told you every time there is tasmat, be careful. It's a very important line. Sarveshu kaleshu, all the time. Now, there was a lot of discussion about timing, isn't it? Shukla Paksh, Krishna Paksh, Dakshinayana, Uttarayana, day, night, this, that. Lord Krishna, what is he saying? Is he saying do bhakti in Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana, not in Dakshinayan, this, that? No. To contrast it from all those timing considerations, he is saying Sarveshu Kaleshu, all the time. Then you don't have to need an Apple Watch. Oh, what time it is, what I have to do at this time, what I have to do at that time. It is very simple. Whatever time it is, do bhakti. Then you don't have to worry about, oh, what time it is. You don't have to look at the panchang. You don't have to look at astrological charts. You don't have to look at this. You don't have to look at that. Today, whether I should wear this money ring or this other type of ring or this mala or that mala or this or that. So many people do all these things. They have a whole cupboard filled with all these various stones and various this and that. Today I have to do this. Tomorrow I have to do this, this, this. No need. Sarveshu kaleshu, do one thing. So easy. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhava Arjuna. My dear Arjuna, just be engaged in bhakti. Okay? Is it clear? So, although a devotee knows these two paths, he is not confused. So what are the main points of 8.27? Bhakta knows the above two paths which we have discussed just now, but he is not confused or bewildered. What does it mean? To do or not to do? Famous line from Hamlet, to be or not to be, to do or not to do. Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do that? Oh, this Pandit ji told me that. That Pandit ji told me that. To do or not to do. Always in that dilemma. So he is not in that dilemma. So this is, he's not confused. And then always, Sarveshu Kaleshu, Just be engaged, yukta, in bhakti. So Bhakta, he knows the above paths, but he is not confused what to do, what not to do, what about this, what about that. Always he is just engaged in bhakti. Okay, that is the essence of this verse. Now comes 8.28. Even more powerful than the previous one. So the translation of this verse by Srila Prabhupada is, although the devotees know these two paths, O Arjuna, they are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Now 28, next verse, even more focus or even more powerful verse it is. What does it say? That a Bhakta is not bereft of these benefits. The word you will see here is that param sthanam upaiti, he attains a higher position. So a higher position automatically means you get the benefit of lower position. So it is a contextual understanding that one is not bereft of the lower benefits. Okay, whatever facilities you have in your house are available in the White House, isn't it? You have nice table, nice chair, nice carpet, nice perfume in your house. Do you think in White House it is not there in President's house? All that is there and more. So the Sanskrit is param sthanam upaiti. So one is not bereft of these benefits. He achieves a much higher destination. And that destination is not achieved by what all? By study of Vedas. This is your Jnana Yoga. Okay, it's not achieved by number 2, yagyeshu, by performing yagya or sacrifices. This is your karma yoga. By tapasu, by tapa, which means austerities. This is your ashtanga yoga. By dan or charity. This is also part of karma yoga. And by punya phala or pious activities. This is also karma yoga. So that destination is not achieved by any of these means. What is it achieved by? By bhakti.
That means the yogis can never reach to the spiritual world?
Yes, that is true. The yogis do not. Now, if they have bhakti mixed,
Okay.
then they can.
Okay.
To reach the spiritual. But if you are just a pure Jnana Yogi, the highest that one can attain is Brahma Jyoti. Okay. So let us see this verse. 8.28. Vedeshu yagyeshu tapahshu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvam idam vidit tva yogi param sthanam upaiti chadyam. So Srila Prabhupada's translation is, a person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical or fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these. And at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. So the point being made is that a bhakta gets all this. Plus, he reaches supreme destination. Okay? Bhakta gets all of these things and he reaches the supreme destination. And we saw from the previous verse that a Jnana Yogi, for example, he reaches Brahma jyoti. So, Vedeshu, Yagyeshu, Tapashu Chaiva. So, by studying the Vedas, by Yagya, by Tapa, Chaiva, and Daneshu Yat Punya Phalam Pradishtam. So, whatever is Pradishtam, whatever these things point to, the destination that pointed to by all these things, by Vedas, by Yagyeshu, Tapa, Dana, and Punya Phala, Atyeti. Atyeti. Atyeti means more, right? Atyeti. That's the, even in Hindi we say, it is something more than that. Atyeti tat sarvam idam viditva. One gets more than all of this. Atyeti tat sarvam. More than all of this. Idam viditva. What the devotee knows. Viditva, the devotee knows that he gets more than this. More than the benefit of all these things he gets. He gets all of this plus more. Yogi param sthanam. This again, the yogi is Bhakta yogi. Param sthanam upayati chadyam. He gets the highest destination. Okay. So the translation, we already read the translation, or let's read it. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing sacrifices, undergoing austerities, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. Simply by performing devotional service, he attains all these, and at the end, he reaches the supreme eternal abode. Now, I mentioned that the other types of yogi, they do not attain the supreme destination by doing these methods. That is very clearly mentioned in chapter 11, verse numbers 11.53 to 55. So let's quickly, since I mentioned that using these methods, Jnana, Tapa, Yagya, Dan, all these methods do not lead to the highest destination. That part is not directly mentioned here, but it is mentioned in 11th chapter. Let me quickly show you. So I hope you can see the Bhagavad Gita on Veda base. We will go to Bhagavad Gita. We will go to chapter 11, and very quickly, I will show you verse number 53. So what is happening in 11th chapter, just to give you a context, Arjun has seen the Vishwarupa, the universal form, and then he sees the Chaturbhuja form, Narayana form. And then finally, Lord Krishna comes back to the Krishna form, two-handed form. And then Lord Krishna is saying this, that this Krishna form that you are seeing, Tad Dhamam Paramam Mama, because when you go to Tad Dhamam Paramam, when you go to live in the White House, who do you meet there? Who will you meet in White House? The president, isn't it? So if you want to see the president, you go to White House. So similarly, when you go to that highest planet, you will see Krishna. What does Lord Krishna say here? The form that you are seeing with your transcendental eyes, this form, the Krishna form that you are seeing, cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. So same thing Lord Krishna is saying. Naham vedair na tapasa na danena na chejyaya. So 4 things are being mentioned. Vedair means study of the Vedas. Tapasa means tapas. Danena, the charity or the karma yoga. And the worship. The Ijjaya means by worshipping, just by doing temple worship. So all the processes are being covered here. Vedair means Jnana Yoga. Tapasa means Ashtanga Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. Danena means Karma Yoga. And by worshipping, just by doing temple worship. You cannot see me as I am. How can you see as I am? Next verse, 11.54. And here Lord Krishna says very clearly, Bhaktya ananya sakya. Again, the word is coming here, ananya bhakti. My dear Arjun, I'm reading just the translation for interest of time. Here. My dear Arjuna, only by ananya bhakti, by undivided devotional service, can I be understood as I am. Or you can say that, can I be seen as I am, standing before you, and thus can be seen directly. So when you go to the supreme planet, you will see Krishna. But otherwise, by charity, by jnana, by tapasya, you cannot see Krishna. Only in this way. What way? What is the this way? What is the this way? Ananya bhakti. That's what is mentioned in the first line. Bhaktyatva ananyaya sakya. Only in that way you can enter into the mysteries of my understanding. And then he goes on and describes in the last verse 55 some of the characteristics of ananya bhakti. Mat karma krit, one who is doing my karma, my work. Okay, Lord Krishna says, go and share this message with others. That is Krishna's work. So those who are sharing Bhagavad Gita with others are doing mat karma krit. They are doing my work. Krishna. So that is mat karma krit. For example, there are many other things that you can do for Krishna. But the point is you are doing mat karma krit. My work who is doing. Mat paramo, who considers me to be the highest. Mad bhaktaha sangha vivarjitaha, who has taken to my bhakti and given up all other sangha. Sangha vivarjita means to give up all other, bhakti, all other, yes, मैं आपका भी भक्त हूँ, आपका भी भक्त हूँ, आपका भी भक्त हूँ. Like, in Indian, whatever government, you have to give, okay, I'll give you bribe, I will give you bribe, I will give you bribe, I will, everybody, my bap. Everybody is my bap. Not like that. Only Krishna who considers to be my bap. Mad bhakta sangha varjitaha. Nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu. Plus, you have to be a very good-natured person as well. You cannot be Krishna Bhakta and to other fellow beings, you are being mean. No, nirvairaha sarva bhuteshu, being very friendly to all other living beings as well. Yah sa mameti pandavaha. He comes to me. Such a person comes to me. So what are the qualifications to go to Krishna? In summary, it is ananya bhakti. Okay, so I have shown you that through the other processes, it is not possible to go to Krishna's planet. Only way to go to Krishna's planet is ananya bhakti. So I have shown that from 8th chapter as well as 11th chapter. Okay. Okay. So we have covered this point. Now let us see what other points are remaining. Yeah. Okay. I think I have covered all the points. Okay. So that is the ending of 8th chapter. So let us see what questions we have. Okay. So Subhash Prabhu had a question. Can a jiva select the best time of departure? So my answer from the Bhagavad Gita understanding is there is no need to select any best time. As long as sarva kaleshu, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, if you are doing bhakti, any time is a good time to depart from the material world. So that is the answer. You don't need to worry about a good time as per whatever, your calendar calculations. So that is the answer. Is that satisfactory?
Prabhuji, thank you very much for the answer. Why this question came up in the mind? There are three things which generated this question in my mind. One is 70 years back when I lost my grandmother, she had specifically told to my family, my father and my mother, that she is, and even to my grandfather, he was alive at that time, she said this is the time she is leaving this planet. And she died punctually second to second at that moment. So this was one incident which was imprinted in my mind, because I was, as a young boy, I was 6-7 years old young boy, it is imprinted on my mind. How she knew and how she pronounced this is the time she is going to leave. That is one question. Second, very recently, just not even a month back.
So let me just respond to that quickly. Before I forget. So, maybe she has done some spiritual practices, and through the power of those, she was able to predict. Okay. And I don't know all the possibilities, or maybe her guru or whoever, might have empowered her to know that, or to make her leave the planet, leave her body at a given time. Based on that, she could have gone to a particular destination. I don't know. Again, like I was giving the example of aeroplane and airport, there are many flights leaving in different directions from the airport. You need to have the right ticket, and you need to show up at the right time. So maybe her guru or whoever she had faith or astha in gave her the right ticket, told her the right time to take the right flight. We don't know where she went. So hopefully she went to a higher place.
You said that she must have been a kind of pious. Yes, she was a very pious person and very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so second thing is just
yes.
Second thing is very recently, not even just 2 weeks back, my nephew lost his wife, and amazing. I think this is only Krishna Kripa. She told me. She never told me in 55 years of her life. She never did that. And she told me to that she wants to come and spend time with me and my wife here. And she spent 2 nights with us, 3 days and 2 nights. And I don't know what empowered me to give her a copy of, Bhagavad Gita and a mala and a bag and this chanting thing.
Yes.
This is just 2 days before. And second, this is happening. And fourth, she goes for her heart checkup. And then she goes down and down and down. But she said, when I gave her these 3 things, say, Chachaji, I got the best gift in my life. She mentioned that. So I said, I think Krishna is directing me to do. It never occurred to me earlier. I should give a Gita to her. Seema.
Yes, we should always, at a minimum, we cannot carry Bhagavad Gita and Japamala all the time, but we should carry a card. We did a whole series in the Bhagavatam class.
This I carry all the time.
Yeah.
So
we should carry a box of these cards with the name of the Lord, with the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra on it. I always have a stack of such cards in my car. Whenever we meet anybody, we should give that card. I
do
can
that.
show you. Are you all on the WhatsApp group?
What is this card exactly?
It has a picture of Lord Krishna and the Mahamantra at the back.
You can
from
see
where
this here.
you get it?
You can get
I
it. printed. You
I
can-
get it from.
Yeah, there is no right or wrong answer. Let me explain, Prabhuji. You can get it printed yourself.
Okay.
And all it needs to have is Hare Krishna Mahamantra at the back. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That's the minimum. Anything else is bonus. If you can print a picture of Lord Krishna or anything else, or maybe the address of the temple or phone number, where if they are interested, they can contact, or the Veda base address URL, the link, so that if they are interested, oh, this is so nice, I am interested. Where do I know more? They can at least type it in the browser and read Bhagavad Gita or read these things. Always carry this. I just want to forward you one video. Is it okay? Are you all on the WhatsApp group?
Yes.
I will put a video on the WhatsApp group. Very inspiring, very touching video. Some
Thank you.
devotee, some devotee was sitting in an airport, and one old airport lady, airport security person came and met that person, this devotee. This devotee gave that lady, airport security guard, she was a security guard, it appeared, this Mahamantra card. And she was so happy. I mean, genuinely, you could see the happiness inside her heart, how it was invoked. I will forward that video to all of you. Have a look and gain some inspiration and spread Lord Krishna's message with all the world. Every day you all meet so many people. Spread Lord
Prabhuji,
Krishna's message.
thank you very much for this kind offer. And if you permit me, I will take a picture of this card and put it in Gunjan Mataji's chat. I'm connected on WhatsApp. Then you can flash it to other Bhaktas.
Sure. I
Now-
also have a card. I can put a picture of that card, and you can have any kind of card printed. Spend some money, go to a printing press, or just use your own printer. And on normal paper, you can print and cut it with scissors, make small cards from a paper,
Yes, sir.
and keep it in your pocket or in your bag, wherever you
But
go.
if it is laminated and hard paper, that will make better. So I think.
Yeah, so spend the time, energy, money to manufacture it.
Yes.
Now for me, Mataji, this is very
So,
easy.
Prabhuji,
I
let me take some more questions. I don't want it to degenerate into
Okay,
just
I'm
a
sorry,
casual
I'm sorry.
conversation. Okay, we are in a class. So let's do
Hare
Q&A.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, next question was, love for Krishna. How do I know that I love him? I have respect and overwhelmed with his greatness. So that is the question. Very nice question. Now, you know in your heart the difference between love and respect. Okay? You know in your heart. And even having great respect for God is not a bad thing at all. It's a wonderful thing. Like, I will give you an example. Like, I don't know, I will take the name of APJ Abdul Kalam. I have a lot of respect for him. He was a great president of India. More than that, he was just a great human being, great scientist, did great things. I have a lot of respect for many other people. I have a lot of respect for Mother Teresa. I have a lot of respect for Mahatma Gandhi. Can I say I have love for them? Probably not. Love is a little bit deeper. I have a lot of love for my family members. I have love for some of my very close friends. I really love them a lot. Okay, so there is a difference, but if you want to start with the position of respect to God, that is absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Don't think that it is something to be discarded or it is something to be given up. No, I just want to mention this. Let me, I stopped sharing the screen. Let me share. So there are 4 stages of approaching God. The lowest stage, the 4th stage, is out of fear. Okay, if I don't pray to God, something bad will happen to me. I must do this. That is out of fear. The 3rd stage is out of desire. Okay, if I connect with God, if I approach God, I will get something, some benefit. The 2nd stage is duty. It's just my duty to serve or to do God's work, just as a duty. So the respect, or what was the other word you used? The feeling of greatness. That Lord is so great. I respect him so much. Therefore, it is my duty to serve him. That feeling comes, the feeling of respect and greatness evokes evokes duty. And the highest is out of love. Okay. So it is absolutely okay that with a sense of duty, that yes, the Lord has done so much for me. He's so great. He's so kind. He's so compassionate. I don't deserve all these things, but yet he's being so kind to me. He's so great. Let me do this little thing. And that is perfectly fine. You're already at the 2nd level. And over time, by performing Shravana, what kind of Shravana? Bhagavat Shravana. The name, fame, glories, instructions, stories or pastimes, all that counts as Bhagavat Shravana. And by Kirtan, by taking the name of the Lord from your mouth, slowly and slowly, you will go from the 2nd stage to the 1st stage. It will slowly and slowly, it will evolve to the stage of love. So it is absolutely no problem if you are at this stage. Great. Keep going. And keep doing Shravana and Kirtan. And leave the rest in God's hand. Don't worry. And it will evolve into love. Okay. So I hope, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, great. Next question is, okay, we talked about jiva, best time. Then if everything resides in Lord Krishna, then isn't the earth automatically also become part of his home? No, not really. Okay, so the question, I hope you all understand, is the question is, if everything resides in Krishna, then isn't the earth his home as well? Now we can make all these kind of connections. Okay. However, very clearly, it is stated in other Shastras, in the Srimad Bhagavatam specifically, that the Lord has 3 levels of understanding. Bhagwan, Paramatma, and Brahman. As Paramatma, he pervades all of the universe or the universes. But as Bhagwan, he is present in spiritual world. And sometimes he comes to the material world, like he came as Krishna, he came as Ram, comes as many in many of his avatars. But he is residing in the spiritual world, and that home of Bhagwan is what we are talking about as Tad Dhamam Paramam Mama. But as Paramatma, he is pervading, he is present in the whole universe. Now, these are some very complex topics to understand. It's not possible to understand it with our limited intelligence either. But please do not have this understanding that this earth planet is same as Vaikuntha, so I'm happy here. It is your material mind trying to give you a justification as to why bother about Vaikuntha. I am good here. That is the completely incorrect understanding. So if the intention behind the question was, what is the problem on earth? I'm already in Vaikuntha. Because earth is inside Lord Krishna. So why bother about Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavana? That is the wrong understanding. Okay. Next question. In 8.22, we were talking about ananya bhakta, but in 8.24, we switched to Brahmavid. Yeah. Where superior bhakta, ananya bhakta goes, Lord Krishna is silent. Why so? So Lord Krishna is saying that Tad Dhamam Paramam Mama, first of all, okay, that there is a supreme destination and it can be reached. Plus, thankfully, I referred to 11th chapter also. And what did Lord Krishna say in 11th chapter? Right here. Are you seeing this screen now? Yah sa mameti pandava. Mameti means he comes to me. So in 11th chapter, definitely he is saying he comes to me. Through what process? Through ananya bhakti. In just the previous verse, he used that word. Bhaktyatva ananya shakya. Aham evam vidho Arjuna. So I can be seen only by ananya bhakti. So you can see Krishna in that form as Krishna in his home. Of course, you can see him when he comes to this planet also. So putting all these verses together, that he reaches me, he comes to me. And various places in the Bhagavad Gita itself. So don't just take 8.22 that Lord Krishna is saying that and he's saying that bhaktya labhyastva ananyaya, the bhakta labhyas, he gains the param purusha. So what is the problem? He is saying where the superior bhakta goes, he goes to Lord Krishna, labhyas param purusha. So I hope all these things answer the question that one goes to Lord Krishna. And where is Lord Krishna? In his home, which is Paramam Gatim, the highest destination. So it all makes sense. Okay. One goes to Lord Krishna and Lord Krishna is in his destination. There is no confusion there. Okay. I hope are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, Swamiji, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I am not Swamiji. You just can just call me Prabhuji. No Guruji. No Guruji, no Swamiji. Those Guru and Swami are very technical words, have a much higher meaning. I am nowhere like that. Okay. Okay. Next question is, it means Jnana Yogi will be stuck in Brahma Jyoti forever. Neither will reach supreme abode, not return to earth. Yes, that is correct. That is correct. He is in Brahma Jyoti forever. And he experiences bliss. That is explained in 18.54. When we reach 18th chapter someday, you will see Lord Krishna says, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. Sammah sarva bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. So in that stage of Brahman, he is very happy. Prasannatma, he is completely happy. Na shochati, na kankshati. There is no misery, no nothing. And he permanently is there in a very happy, satisfied state. So that, yes, you are right. He is in Brahma Jyoti forever. He does not go to Vaikuntha. Neither he comes to the material world.
But Prabhuji, that was not the final destination.
Final means what? From where one never returns. The permanent destination.
Spiritual world, Vaikuntha Dham.
There is a difference between final destination and highest destination.
Say highest destination.
Yeah, so he does not attain the highest destination, but he attains a permanent final destination.
So is it okay?
Yes. I mean, yes, it is okay. It's not the highest. I mean, you are living in your house, right? It's a good house and you will live there forever. However your life long is, you will live there. You will never be able to go to the White House. Do you think you will ever go and live in the White House? So your house is a good permanent destination, but it is not the highest destination. It's not the best house in the world, assuming we can say White House is the best house. You get the point, right? There is a difference between final destination and highest destination.
But definitely it is a shortcoming. Definitely it is shortcoming.
Yes, it is a shortcoming, but if somebody, again, you know, it's a deeper topic, whether it's a shortcoming or not. It is first, the point you need to focus on is that not that I want the highest one. The point you need to focus on is I want the easiest one. And by the way, the highest one happens to be the easiest one. So why not aim for that? Okay. Reaching Brahma Jyoti is not easy. Bhakti or reaching Vaikuntha is also not easy. Both are hard in their own right. But between the two, Bhakti Yoga is much, much easier. So therefore, why are we having this question, which one is higher? Is it just an academic or an intellectual question?
No. So,
No,
Prabhuji, actually,
I'm saying it in a rhetorical way. Hold on. For us, for our own sadhana, for our own practice, we must focus on what can I do to progress spiritually in my life. If you think that the path of Jnana Yoga is suitable for you, it appears to be easy for you. It is not. It's very hard. In the Shastra, it is said here. Bhagavad Gita itself is said here. It's very hard. Bahunam janmanamante jnanavan mam prapadyate. After many lifetimes of doing Jnana Yoga, people come to the level of Bhakti because they realize Bhakti is easier. So don't worry about which is higher destination or lower destination. We should focus on what is the easier destination or what is the easier path and focus on our path. Yes, go ahead.
Prabhuji, I wanted to mention that as per your thought, Bhakti is our final destination. But by following the Jnana Marg, we are stuck in between.
Bhakti is not the destination. Bhakti is a marg. Okay, go ahead.
What I mean to say, as per your lecture or your speech, we feel that we should be on Bhakti Marg. That is the final and best and superior destination.
Yes.
But due to Jnana Marg, we don't able to reach it. We feel that it is suitable to us. So, and we don't reach to Vaikuntha Dham as well. So what I mean to say, there must be some way that we may, after reaching to Brahma Jyoti, we may reach to Vaikuntha Dham as well. Due to some
one can
process.
perform, yes, one can perform Bhakti from Brahma Jyoti and go higher.
Oh, it is possible.
Yes.
But you said that, but it is always stuck there. You just told that if one reaches to Brahm Jyoti, it is stuck there.
Okay, I see where you are confused. You are not stuck there. It means that I did not mean to say that you cannot go higher. That's not the meaning. You can still go higher if there is a desire for bhakti. But you do not come back. You stay there forever. There is nothing which makes you come back. That's my point. So it is still the final eternal destination. Okay? But it doesn't mean you cannot go to the higher eternal destination. Okay? So you can perform bhakti even at that level and go to Vaikuntha Dham. Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions on the chat? I don't see any more questions. Are there any other questions? Okay, if not, then yeah, we went over by 20 minutes. I'm sorry about that, but I wanted to complete all the Q&A. And once we are done with Q&A, then we can have more like back and forth discussions. But during Q&A time, let's keep it, more Q&A structured. And yeah, next time we will start 9th chapter. And 9th chapter is super important chapter. It is called the most confidential knowledge. It's called Raj Guhya Yoga. The second verse of 9th chapter starts with Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshagamam Gamyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So it is Raj Guhyam. It's the very secret knowledge, very confidential knowledge. So I will explain what is the meaning. It's in the book. It's in the open website. How is it confidential? How is it secret? Anybody can go and read it. So I will explain that, but it's a very important chapter. And arguably, 9th chapter is the most important chapter of the entire Bhagavad Gita. So please don't miss the 9th chapter. And we will go through it slowly and carefully. So it will take a few sessions to complete 9th chapter, but please be present for as much, if not all of the 9th chapter. Very, very, very important. Okay?
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prayer by in one tone will be good, I think. Prayer.
It's okay. Prayer is from our heart. So
Correct.
for the beginners, yes, we may get disturbed if we see many voices.
Correct.
Try to use that as a way to focus your mind. You know, when I'm doing japa in a noisy place, I feel I'm do better japa, because then I'm really trying to focus.
When you starting, many others are joining, so it is not thinking.
It's okay. I have no problem.
Okay.
It's better if others are joining rather than forcing everybody to be quiet.
Okay.
This is not a musical performance where everybody has to be quiet. When I'm speaking the lecture, then yes, I get disturbed when others speak. But this prayers I have by hearted, I don't get disturbed. And it's better if others speak. Now, there are very senior devotees, when they are giving lecture, they don't get disturbed if there is other noise. I am not at that level. That's why I say, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. That is a lower level. Higher level is to give a good lecture without getting disturbed by noise.
Okay.
That would be even higher. Then if I ever reach that level, I will never say, please mute yourself. It's okay. In spite of the noise, I can continue to speak because I have my mind controlled. I am not at that level. So for the prayer portion, the Mangalacharan portion, I don't have a problem. And neither should you. Focus on the prayer, not on the voices and all that. That's my thinking. But I want to encourage everybody to do the prayers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? The bhava, the feeling is more important. All right?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.